Hello, welcome to Living the Negative Split Life. I'm Mark, and I'm going to do a shoe review, and I know I'm probably the last guy on YouTube to review this shoe, but I still want to because it's right at that point where version 3 of the shoe is going to be coming out. And the shoe I'm talking about is the New Balance Fresh Foam Beacon. This is version 2. And I've been a New Balance Beacon wearer for 2 years. I got version 1 way back in 2018, and I've run through 2 pairs of those and picked up version 2 here just about a month ago or so to add back in to complement my Ultra Touring 4s, which have been my primary shoe for the last few months or so. But like I said, I'm probably the last guy on YouTube to do this review, but I think now could be a very good time to purchase this shoe because version 3 of this is going to be coming out real soon, and I've just noticed that the prices on version 2 are starting to drop. This normally retails for $120, and I think Running Warehouse, for one, has dropped it down to under $100, maybe as low as $85. So it might be a good time to purchase this type of shoe if it is right for you. So I wanted to review it because I do have a lot of experience in this shoe, and I've got some comparisons to be able to show you what happens over time with this shoe. But basically what we've got here is a relatively minimalist type of shoe. The upper is pretty basic. It's just essentially some mesh planted onto the midsole, so nothing real fancy there. The big difference between version 1 and version 2 is this little heel, and you can see how it's got that little flare. For comparison, I've got my pair of version 1s here, and you can see there is no flare on the heel. That was their big thing. Big change for version 2. The other thing is you've got this texture on here that kind of resembles the texture on the midsole. So I don't know if functionally that makes any difference. It seems about the same level of support in the heel cup as version 1. I think this is the biggest change, and what it does is supposedly relieves stress on the Achilles because of this flare. Some people had complained about it in version 1. I've never had any issues with it. The big thing for me with Achilles irritation is if the padding on the inside is too thick. And both version 1 and version 2 are very minimal in the padding. Enough padding, but I've never had any issues with version 1, and I don't expect to have any issues with version 2. So the heel looks a little different. As far as the midsole, it is the same as version 1. It's a 26 millimeter stack height in the heel and 20 millimeter on the front. So you've got a 6 millimeter drop, which is a lower drop. It's not a zero drop, obviously, but it's on the lower side of things, which I tend to like because, like I said, my other pair of shoes are Ultras, and those are zero drop. And one of the things I like when I use this shoe in addition to the Ultra Touring 4s, which I'll probably review next, is that the stack height is about the same. The Touring 4s are 26 millimeter stack height front and back, where these are 26 and 20, so pretty similar. The outsole or the midsole is the same fresh foam that they've had in version 1. I don't think they changed anything at all. It is firm, not squishy, not super firm, but not squishy. So it's kind of a level below firm, and it is sort of responsive. What's nice is it does give you a fair amount of road feel. Your feet do not really compress into the shoe when you strike down. Just kind of gives a little bit of give, and then provides a good solid bed for your foot. So I do like that. As far as the outsole, it is the same, I think, as version 1. Here's my version 1 over here with the orange, but it's the same exposed fresh foam on the bottom with some strategically placed higher wear rubber on the outside or on the inside of the forefoot and the outside of the rear. So kind of that traditional roll, strike and roll in. So, I was really concerned when I bought my first pair of version 1s back in June of 2018. I was really concerned that that it wouldn't last real long. Because I'd read some things about people getting under 100 miles, but I liked the feel of the shoe, so I went ahead and bought it. What I have found on my first pair of Beacons, I got about 260, 65, 70 miles on them before I bought my second pair of version 1s. And right now, this is the first pair of version 1s. I'm just kicking around, walking around shoes. I've still run a little bit in these, and these are up to 290 miles right now. So I've got 290. So if you can take a look at the sole, you will see that these little lugs here in the middle are pretty much down. There's still a little bit of texture on these higher wear high abrasion foam on the outside, rubber on the outside. But up front, where I push off, that's worn down considerably. The heel, I tend to be more, I was a real big heel striker. I've become more of a midfoot striker, probably since I've been wearing the Torrens. But there's still a little bit there. But what I have noticed, I didn't notice it until I wore these today. I took these out for a 6-mile run today. So relatively, a typical run for me. A typical run for me is going to be anywhere from 6 to 10 miles. And this was a 6-mile run at easy pace for 4 miles and moderate pace for 2. So I did pick up the pace a little bit. And what I noticed that was very obvious between a new pair of the version 2s versus my old pair of version 1s is the forefoot cushioning. This had a lot more cushioning here, and I really noticed it in the ball of my foot to the toes. This shoe with about 300 miles is starting to give. I was starting to get, and I was not really pain, but a little bit of sensitivity after especially a longer run. I noticed 0 today, so that convinced me that it's time to retire the second pair of the version 1s and go exclusively with the version 2s whenever I'm wearing the Beacons. So, bottom line on a New Balance Beacon, it is a fairly versatile shoe. I've used my Beacons for distance days. The longest run I've done in the Beacons has been, I've done several 10-mile. I might have done one half marathon last year, but most of the time my typical run is 6 to 10 miles, and you can do these all day, every day in the Beacons. They're very, very good for that. So I think that's kind of the sweet spot, but it also works well when the pace is picking up. So if I'm doing tempo, even speed, like half mile, quarter mile intervals on the track, the Beacon has served me well. And I've worn it. I wore it in last year's Peachtree 10K, and it wasn't the shoe that slowed me down. It was me. So I can't blame the shoe. I wish I could, but it's not the shoe. So the Beacon is it's a good all-around shoe. It's slightly firm. It's not squishy. It is supportive. The foam is not marshmallowy. It's got a good amount of road feel. Doesn't push you back up, but it does kind of settle in and give you a good firm foundation to push off. So I would highly recommend the Beacon version 2 if you're a neutral runner. If you don't need a lot of pronation control, this is probably one you should check out, especially with the version 3 coming out here pretty soon. Version 2 is starting to go on sale. That's what I did with my second pair of the version 1. This was out. I bought a version 1 for $80. So I got $30, almost $40 off the price at that point. These are on sale for under $100 now, so check it out. And let me know what you think. Have you run on Beacons? Are you a fan of New Balance? What are your thoughts? In the comments below. Oh, one other thing. I wanted to let you know that New Balance, if you haven't used New Balance, they are sized a little small. I typically take an 11 in normal shoes, like my Ultras are 11s. These are size 12. My right foot is bigger than my left foot by probably half a size. So I've got a size 12. My right foot fits perfect. My left foot has just a little bit extra room, but the lacing, it laces up pretty good and locks down, so I haven't had any issues with that. The weight on this for size 12 is 8 5/8, so what is that, 247 grams. So for these big shoes that are heavier than some shoes, but not as heavy as a lot, so the weight is very good as well. So New Balance Beacons version 2 might be a good deal, especially now with version 3 on the horizon. The price on these is dropping. So there you go. First shoe review. Like I said, I'm probably the last guy on YouTube to do it, but let me know what you think of New Balance. Have you run into Beacons? Are you looking to buy the Beacons? I'd be happy to answer any questions I can for you. So just put a comment down there in the comments, and be sure to follow me. You can follow me on Strava and on Twitter. Those links will be in the description below here. If you like what you hear, what you see, and you want to get notified when new content comes out, I'm going to be putting out videos pretty much at least every Tuesday and Friday, at least 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and thanks for watching, and we will see you back here real soon. Be well.